6. What have you learned about technologies from the process of constructing this product?
I've learned a few things about technologies whilst making this product. One of the biggest things I learned was how to control the camera we used for the movie. This was a Panasonic HD SD90 camera. I learned how to use the buttons, how to set it up on the tripod, how to pan and tilt with accuracy, how to zoom, and know what all the buttons do, and just basically how to use the camera. I also learned how to use the Zoom H2N handy recorder. We used this to do mine and Alicia's voiceovers, and basically I learned how all the buttons work again, what the symbols of the screen mean, and how to know if it's on or not. I also learned how to use iMovie. iMovie was a completely brand new editing software for me, so I had to learn it from scratch. I use other editing softwares like Adobe After Effects and Sony Vegas Pro, so I knew the kind of basic way that editing works and how to do it, and that kind of knowledge is transferable to most programs, simple cut, edit, paste. But I learned how to use iMovie in particular because it's a different setup. The way it's set out is quite simplistic compared to Sony Vegas and After Effects, but it takes a longer route to do things that could take a few seconds in Sony Vegas, so it's kind of difficult, and to wrap our heads around that initially was quite hard. Even at the end we found it very difficult putting titles on because we didn't know how to move it around the screen freely because iMovie does not give you that option. So it was hard to adapt, but we did it, and that's how I learned how to use iMovie basically. Also, because it was on iMovie, that meant it was on an iMac, and I use Windows computers, like PCs with Windows operating system, so I have not used an Apple operating system before. I don't even have an iPhone, so I found it quite difficult to transfer it because it's quite different from the Windows. It's got the basic elements of, this somewhat start bar at the bottom and the task menu and that, but the commands on the keyboards are different, like paste and copy. It's not control, even though there's a control, it's command for some reason. And learning the iMac was something that I had to do. I had to learn that when you scroll up on the mouse wheel, it actually scrolls down. You can screenshot using the command. Also, how to navigate through the document system was different for me because it was set out really oddly, and unlike Windows, you can have a set block for each folder. You could kind of pile them on top of each other, which I thought was interesting, something that I learned about that technology. I also learned about the harshness of compatibility between devices. Me and Alicia have Android phones, and so when we filmed our Snapchat video on mine and Alicia's phone, we found it very difficult to transfer it to the iMac. But luckily Yasmin had an Apple phone, so we could send it to her via WhatsApp, and then she could upload it with a cable, because for some reason iMac was not wanting to be compatible even when we downloaded the program that can transfer Android files into Apple iMac files and stuff. I learned how to use the blogging website that we use, blogger.com. It was kind of straightforward, but some of the things were kind of difficult to wrap your head around, like messing with the HTML and putting links in and sorting out your page so it was the width dimensions you wanted, and the background was nice, and the font was the right color. Even now I'm still having somewhat issues with the font. Sometimes it comes out black for some reason, but that's okay. All I have to do is change it to white. But yeah, I've also learnt technical words like Foley and format. I haven't heard the word Foley before, but I've heard the word format, but now I just know what it means. And altogether I've just grasped a better understanding of the process needed to make a movie. It's a very long process, even in the filming aspect of it. How many retakes of the shots you need to do, how you can mess with light to make your scene look better. All these are stuff that I've learned during this process.